Good evening, Windsor. This is Angie. It is Monday, April 20th, and this is our COVID-19 update for this evening. The case update is 27,058 cases in the state of Florida, which is an increase of 744 from yesterday evening, as reported by the Department of Health. As far as deaths related to COVID-19 go, we went from 774 deaths reported yesterday evening to 823 reported this evening. Osceola County cases are 410, while Orange County is 1,216. Again, continuing to lead the Central Florida count for overall cases of COVID. Going to jump into a handful of updates or housekeeping issues tonight, if you will. I will just start at the top of my list. First things first, I just want to remind residents and family members that if you don't have an iPad or you don't have a smartphone or you're not comfortable using yours, please do not hesitate to reach out to Cecilia, CC, and ask her and her team for some help. And we would love to connect you virtually to your family members so that you can see them up close and personal, kind of the next best thing. You know, talking on the phone is one thing, but there's not a whole lot better than actually getting to see your family member. So please do not hesitate to ask that question. We do have those devices. We purchased them after COVID started so that we could make sure we had ways to help families communicate. So please reach out to CC for assistance there. I will make sure that in tonight's notes, I list her email address in the body of the email, so it's easy for you to reach out if you would like to. We are scheduling those 24 hours in advance. The only exception is memory care that has open call days, which those families are aware of. So if you are a village or club resident or family member, or you are a memory care family member not on a call day, please reach out to her and schedule a time 24 hours in advance. And we would love to help you reconnect. All right. Also, I mentioned last night I've had a couple of issues with my distribution list getting a little wonky along the way. We've got a lot of folks now copied on the distribution list, residents, families, friends, etc. And a couple people have dropped off along the way, which is strange. But I want to make sure that you have everyone listed that you would like to receive a nightly email from me, or as we move forward beyond COVID, that they receive the Friday's Angie's notes that go out, just the general updates on the community, which was previous to this COVID situation. But make sure I have an email address for you, for loved ones, friends, anybody that you would like to receive updates on a nightly basis going forward. Just shoot me an email or stop by the front desk or call the front desk and leave your email address, and I'll be happy to add you to the list. Okay, well, let's see. I've been thinking about refrigerators, your refrigerator specifically, and all of these boxes and all of these to-go meals. And I know sometimes servings aren't as big as we'd like, but sometimes they're bigger than we like, so sometimes we have leftovers. I just want the residents to be mindful of the length of time that we're keeping food in our refrigerators. I know that in the villages, we are providing a bit more oversight of refrigerators, but I want to be sure that all residents are being mindful so that, one, refrigerators don't get too packed and temperatures are difficult to maintain, or two, that we don't go back to any food that probably is a little too old to digest. So please be mindful of that here as we go forward. Let's see. Just do want to address serving sizes for meals. One of the concerns that I've gotten recently is serving sizes, that sometimes they're awfully small. A resident was kind enough, and this is the second time I've gotten this specific concern about serving sizes. Once it was a single French toast serving was a single piece of toast, which it should be two. Today, residents got one stuffed pepper and it was pretty small, so it really should have been 2 if the pepper's not a significant size. So I am talking to the staff about that. I reached out to Mark and Chef Jorge and Shelby just to kind of get some clarification on that, make sure that we're giving the cooks the proper information as far as serving sizes so that is getting to the residents appropriately and consistently. So if that happens to you, please don't hesitate to shoot me an email or give me a call and just let me know. It's very helpful as I give feedback to the staff and we continue to improve what we're doing every day. So thank you for the resident who I thanked via email for sending that information, and all of you, good, bad, and different. We do want to know how we're doing, and obviously some days are perfect and other days are a little bit less than perfect, but we do want to hear from you, good, bad, or indifferent, how we're doing and what we can continue to do. And if it's something that we can't change because of a situation, we'll talk about that. But a lot of times it is something that we can tweak and address. So please keep that communication coming. Well, let's see. Packages. So we are still doing the 9 to 11 daily package delivery, which is very largely going well. We do occasionally have a delivery outside of that time frame, although we are really working hard to keep them within that time frame. What we're asking families specifically to do, because obviously the Instacart and the ship drivers aren't going to do this, but if families are bringing packages to the community, when you arrive, staff are often asking, have you sanitized the items within the bag or the box, okay? So if at all possible, if before you bring those items to the community, if you can sanitize the items going in, that would be ideal, and then we will sanitize the outside. If you don't do that, just please let us know. We'll sanitize the items inside, but we don't want to over sanitize either. So you'll be getting that question, and it would be helpful if you did that before you brought things over. But if you can't, just let us know and we will do it for you. All right, let's see. I do want to remind everybody that the other day I sent out a contact sheet for key staff, so all of the department heads and managers as well as the main desks, etc. Just want to remind everybody to print that out if you haven't already. It's a good reference. We had a couple of things come in today that went to line staff. Line staff, so hourly employees, maybe CNAs or life enrichment coordinators, servers, etc. We want to make sure that those things, those requests, those concerns get to the right people as quickly as possible. So if you do have a concern or something, please refer to that and get the appropriate phone number. You can also always call the concierge and they can direct your call or your concern. But just wanted to remind you that we did send that, and makes sense to print a copy and pop it up on your refrigerator. If you're a resident at Windsor and don't have a printer, you are welcome to come down to the front desk or call down to the front desk and request a copy of that, and you can either pick it up or we'll bring one up to you. And it does change, so if you had one when you moved in, it may have changed since then. All righty, long list today. Let's see. Just again, wanting to talk about expectations for reopening. This is something I said we were going to try to talk about on a nightly basis, just to prepare ourselves mentally for the kind of reopening of the world. We've talked about the fact that Governor DeSantis, the state of Florida, even the president has been talking more and more about a plan for reentry or reopening, and that I often have to remind myself as well that it isn't going to be a light switch. We aren't going to hit a date and all of a sudden the world that we knew and lived in is here again. I think that's going to be a long, long time. So I just want residents and families to be mindful that we know at the very least until May 8th, we are going to be under these same visitor restrictions that have been imposed. Period. That's not an Angie decision. That is a state of Florida decision. We are enforcing it. But on May 9th, or whatever the date ends up being, because it could be extended again, very well could be, particularly for senior living, that day that it expires or that, it no longer is in place, that it won't be a light switch. We will still need to have some community-wide policies, procedures, protocols to make sure that we are able to maintain the health and safety of Windsor and our residents. Because again, just because they push that, that switch turns off, it doesn't mean COVID is gone. I think COVID's going to be with us for a long time, and it's still going to be a very real concern of ours in communities like ours, because we are so high risk. One, we have residents that are over 65. We have residents with other comorbidities. But two, we also have a lot of people living in a small, enclosed area, right? It's like a cruise ship or anything else. If you get a case of anything, it is highly likely that it could spread, even with good infection control procedures in place, because a lot of times it's not staff to resident, might not be staff to resident transmission, but it could be resident to resident transmission. So I just say that again to remind everybody that this is going to be a process. And I know everybody's eager. We've been getting questions. Hey, Angie. Hey, Glenn. Hey, Cece. When are we going to open things back up? The honest answer is I don't know. And the follow-up answer is, but when we do, it's not going to be all at once. It will be a process, and we will continue to communicate with you through that process and make sure everyone is informed and everyone understands. And please know that we will continue to consult with the CDC, the World Health Organization, the Florida Department of Health, the local emergency management, Agency for Healthcare Administration, and then Life Care Services, as well as a number of senior living organizations across the country that are focused on best practices, specifically at this time as they relate to COVID. So we are really working on not making any decisions or anything in a vacuum, but I can tell you that it will be a process. It will not happen overnight. So bear with us as we work through these next phases of COVID and continue to keep Windsor safe and healthy here as we move forward. Part of that is visitation. We continue to have this conversation, and I just want to reiterate it because it's a tough one. We talked last night about family members coming on site, and it's kind of harmless, and it is until it isn't. And we appreciate so much that residents and family members want to see each other. I completely get it. One of the reasons I thought it was important to come here and be a part of Windsor was so that I could convey from my own experience some of the hardships and be more empathetic to what was going on, in addition to just helping to create a safer environment and reducing my chances of becoming sick. But I am going through this with you. I feel the grief of not seeing my family and the loss of kind of the life that, we all once had. And we know that seeing loved ones and family members would help us feel better. But it's a very slippery slope, and we have to be sure that the things that we put in place are consistently applied across the community. We talked last night about having some residents that are maybe lack the capacity or the ability to refrain from contact with family members if they do come on site. And so we have to make the decision that we've made, which is no visitors on property. Just consistent application of that policy, with the exception of drop-offs, et cetera, to ensure the overall safety of the community. And, most people have been quarantining, which is wonderful, but we still have risk even in those quarantine experiences. We have interactions with shoppers and delivery people. That's a risk for transmission. So with every person that comes on site, there's still risk. So I know it might seem like a draconian approach to managing the community, but you're all worth it. So you've made so many sacrifices to date. I just ask that you continue to help and support that process, letting family members know, you know they miss you, but it's better that we talk over FaceTime or Skype or whatever it is, and we'll see each other soon enough when this is all over and we can be safe. So I appreciate residents and families supporting that, and I know it's not a welcomed decision, but I do think it's in the best interest of the whole of the community. Let's see. I'm going to change gears here, I believe. Friday, we have some fun things coming up. Friday, we are going to just have some fun and do superhero theme day. So if residents have any superhero items, we would love to see you don them for the day. You know, it's always fun when food and beverage knocks on your door to deliver a meal and you were wearing a crazy hat or crazy socks or tacky tourist outfit. I know it brought a smile to their day too. So it can be one of those mutually beneficial things. So Superhero Day on Friday. Additionally, we are going to be doing dinner and a formal kind of informal formal dinner and a movie on Friday. The movie will be 5 o'clock, and it will be the new Star Wars movie, Rise of Skywalker. And like I mentioned last week, we're going to be offering upper crust pizza for dinner, as well as an alternative menu item, which will probably be a fish. Residents will get 2 slices of upper crust pizza, which are like probably the size of my head. I don't think I'm exaggerating, 1 slice. I think a large pizza is 8 slices, so they're pretty big. So you probably have 1 for dinner and 1 for breakfast the next morning or lunch or whatever you like to do to heat it up. And that'll be served with a side salad. And then I've got a couple surprises coming for you to enjoy during the movie as well, which will be on us. So Friday, the food and beverage team will be putting an order form out for you tonight for pickup, so I know what kind of pizza and how many pizzas to order. We're offering 4 options: good old traditional cheese, pepperoni, the classics, and then we're going to do a deli pizza, which is kind of like a meat lovers, and then we're going to do a veggie pie, which is for residents that like all that yummy goodness of vegetables. And finally, it's not listed, but I know there are a couple of residents that are gluten-free, and as a mom of a celiac gluten-free child, I can attest to how good the upper crust gluten-free pizza is. So for those couple residents I'm thinking of, we got you covered. Just make a note on your order form and we'll make sure that we get that ordered for you. Lastly, I just want to let residents know that the Jewish Pavilion was kind enough to sponsor lunch tomorrow for the employees, a partner of ours in the community that helps to serve the residents within our community, our Jewish residents within the community. They've offered to sponsor lunch tomorrow for the staff, so they're going to be sending a toasted grilled cheese food truck for them. We will be making sure that we are sanitizing often, that handoff by the toasted people and our staff, and practicing good social distancing to minimize risk. But what a nice gift from the Jewish Pavilion for the employees of Windsor. So, sounds like a good week is shaping up. I know Linda and Cece are working on another special project to hand out to residents, but memoirs are also being requested. I think today was Childhood Best Friends, and tomorrow's is
Places of Significance.
Places of Significance. So please, you got time on your hands, jot some things down. I think 200 words to 500 words if it's a long story. Lots of things coming up. Take a look at your calendar. Even if you don't think you're a writer, give it a try. Everybody's got a story to tell, and I know we would love to read it and learn about you. I know I've got a pretty good one. I'm gonna try to do a couple of them, but the one that the team knows here that I have a big story is about a crime that just a crime that I won't say I've been involved in. I wasn't involved. It was before I was born, but it has to do with my family, and it's a pretty amazing and unbelievable and a little bit awful, but interesting story, and something that I'm going to be sharing with CC, and we'll see if it gets picked to be shared. So please do submit those. Again, we're just trying to find new ways to get everybody involved and keep everybody busy. But you don't have to be a writer. Don't think you have to. Sometimes find those little talents where you least expected them. So please share that with us. And I think I just want to remind everybody too, last thing, I had somebody come in today and asked to go to the grocery store for milk. And I said, wait a minute, what do you mean? We have the grocery program, and I was able to help that resident find a solution. Please don't forget that we do have the Windsor grocery program that is still going. I will talk with food and beverage and make sure that they're making those order forms available to you. I know they're not the sizes and all the varieties we want, but again, it is safer than residents needing to go out to the grocery store, even having ship shoppers come, etc. So please remember that that is an option to you. If you need it, we're going to be really trying to push it with the employees as well, because again, the more people we can keep out of the grocery store, the better. For those people like me who haven't been off site in 40 days, I'm hearing that the grocery stores are packed. Somebody told me that Walmart looks like it's Christmas. So the more we can keep our Windsor connected people out of those places, the better. So I think that is that. I don't have anything else for you this evening. I'm just checking my notes. But that is that. So I hope everybody has a wonderful evening. I will look forward to seeing you tomorrow. I will be sending out this link and the updated Angie's notes here in a little while. So everyone have a wonderful evening, and we will see you tomorrow.